Okay, just like always, you're gonna look at me, it's all recorded, so if you need to stop and start again, you can. We're rolling, so we're gonna go ahead and.
Any cell phones or anything like that? We want to make sure they're probably turned on
Nope.
vibrate or.
I left it in the car. I'm smarter than I look.
Great, you are.
I put it
I've been through them
underneath
before.
me.
That's right, this isn't your first time in front of the
No,
camera?
it's not for the first time.
I'm gonna have you say and spell your first and last name so we can make sure that the levels on the microphone are okay.
Speaking of cell phones.
Speaking of cell phones, it's on vibrate. Go ahead.
Okay, look at you.
Yes, sir.
Tom Hanafan, Tomhanafan.
And on the invitation, do you want Mayor Tom Hanafan, or is it Tom Hanafan, comma, retired Council Bluffs Mayor?
Just Tom Hanafan.
Well, you still got that title, though.
Okay, retired council
Okay.
president. Or former mayor. How's that?
Former.
Retired. It's always a lovely word to have.
You don't like the word retired?
Well, I don't know. It just seems, well, you know, I guess it's, yeah, retired would be good. Because former mayor, sounds like he could have got defeated in an election.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So we're gonna stay with retired.
Okay.
Tell me what 3 important things really stick out in your mind about, 3 things that, I'm gonna rephrase that. Tell me 3 important things that stick out in your mind that happened while you served as mayor here in Council Bluffs.
Well, you know, it's pretty hard to, after 25 years, to figure out what 3 there are. But I think the infrastructure changes. When we came into office, one of the things we had was bad sewers and streets, and our interstate system was where it was. It was built for $60,000. But now we've actually, the sewers are not combined anymore. They're separated. Our street system is much better shape. The interstate that we took back in 1994 to the federal government is now in place. When we started, it was $600 million. By the time it's done, it'll be over $2 billion. It'll be the largest construction project in the state of Iowa. And that's really kind of amazing to have those things done. But what's also amazing is that we were able to do it. People said, how do we get it accomplished? And we got it done. So I think the infrastructure is a key issue. The tornado in 1988, very vivid on my mind. As tragic as it was, as much damage as it caused, it kind of brought the community together in a respect that I remember the comments about people helping people. It was really interesting, my dad always said, there's going to be a tornado in Council Bluffs because it can't jump the river, because they always come from the southwest. So I was kidding him, I said it went over the bridges, somehow it came over the top. But we had 4 tornadoes hit in 1988. A lot of damage on the west side, and the south side, wind damage throughout the community. And we were in pretty tough shape. But what was really interesting is that all the days that we spent in the EOC room, all the people that made contributions to change, to make sure that people were healthy. Not only the workers that work for the city of Council Bluffs, but also the people that came in here as volunteers. Neighbors helping neighbors. It was just incredible to watch people in the devastation, having problems with their own homes, out next door helping people. Nobody left their homes. They stayed there, electricity out, National Guard coming in, and people stayed with it. It really kind of said, that people could make a difference in their own community, and I think that started changing the way people looked at themselves and their community. The third issue, I believe, would probably be, I think was rather important, is quality of life. The quality of life in Council Bluffs has changed dramatically. Number one, the new library. It was always difficult to build a new library. We went from a 23,000 square foot library to a 67,000 square foot library. And, and that was always an issue, but we couldn't quite get it passed in a bond issue without the support of Iowa West and other contributors in the city of Council Bluffs that would never got done. That kind of started that, you know, we can do things on our own. Then the old library, converted from a library of 23,000 square feet, old Carnegie Library, beautiful building, but we didn't know what to do. It became the UP Museum. So that kind of started the downtown revitalization. The city then made vast dollar improvements in the infrastructure downtown, and then you could see that quality of life starting to change. You know, our new park system, the recreation facility on South 24th Street, which carries about 600,000 people a year go through that facility in a year. The new park system that's been created, the improvements to Dodge Riverside Park, the new park at River's Edge Park, all those things really started to make a difference in the quality of life. Housing starts increased, more jobs, more economic development, and it just seemed that people felt better. But those three issues really stick out, and obviously they enhance a larger part than just three issues, but that's what really sticks out in my mind.
What inspired you to become mayor?
Well, yeah, you know, when I graduated from high school, I went away to college, and I told my mom, you know, I won't be back. You know, it's just not, I'm not coming back here. This isn't where I was going to stay. And so I graduated from college, got married, came back here, actually married the girl that I went to high school with, and we're still married. And so anyway, I got back here, and I was working for a company, and I was doing some sales and marketing. But I didn't have any children, so I started getting involved in the YMCA and started volunteering, got involved in a few clubs and did some work. And all of a sudden, I looked around the community, and I said, you know, this isn't what I want my kids to grow up into. I mean, I don't want my kids to do the same things I did. And so I said, you know, what I'm going to do is start getting more involved. So the YMCA really kind of drove me. I started being a volunteer coach and volunteer referee. Started refereeing high school football and basketball. Got involved in the YMCA board, and all of a sudden I was on another board and another board. And I decided to run for council. And they told me, they said, Tom, you can't win city council. You live in the wrong neighborhood. You're not well known. You have no money. So, you know, your chances are slim and none. I ended up third out of a race for three. They were pretty close in telling me the truth that, you know, you just I couldn't win, but I got third. So I stayed on the city council for 4 years. Then I left, got off the city council, did not run again because I just had too many things going on. I'm trying to raise a family, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to referee, I'm trying to coach, and I just couldn't put that time in. So in '86, I got, all of a sudden they changed the form of government, and then for 2 years, about a year, I contemplated whether to run for mayor. And I look back and I said, you know, all the people that told me what I couldn't do, how I couldn't win, how this couldn't happen, how we couldn't change Council Bluffs, I said, I'm running. You know, I saw my dad and my mom when I was young. We lived on the west side of town, the streets were dirt, and they got involved in what they called the West End Improvement Group. All of a sudden, we had paved streets. So I knew it could happen. And I knew that, you know, not just one person could do it, but that was the inspiration. I wanted to make a difference in my hometown differently than what I had.
Perfect. How did you, tell me about your involvement with the Red Cross? And if you say, when you say them or, you know, in reference of the Red Cross, if you can say the American Red Cross.
Say the American Red Cross?
Yes.
Okay.
Or just Red Cross.
All right.
So tell me about your involvement with the American Red Cross.
Well, you know, I knew where the building was, and I'd been by there, and, you know, I knew about blood drives. My dad was involved in blood drives at UP for years. And he always believed that he was a gallon giver, and I remember he was very excited about those opportunities he had. He came from the World War II, and giving back was really important. So the American Red Cross was important to him. And then when I came during the flood, or during the tornado of 1988, I really learned more about the American Red Cross than I ever thought I would ever know. They came to the aid of people in these neighborhoods. It was incredible. people that were, needed help, people that needed a place to stay overnight. I remember one story, there was a gentleman who lost his electricity, and he was trying to live through this problem, but he had a prosthesis leg, and because he had no air conditioning, he would take it off and his leg would swell, and he couldn't get back on, and he was trying to live through this. And he called me and he said, you know, what can we do? So I called the Red Cross, and they were able to get that gentleman into a motel room and get him situated, and obviously, you know, he was able to live a normal life. The American Red Cross then became something that I got involved with. My brother was on the board. You know, we got involved in all their drives. They moved a couple times and all those type of things, but always, you know, supported them. Again, anytime we had a snowstorm, anytime we had a flood, this last flood in 2011, the American Red Cross, they were on our line. They were there at our EOC room. I remember him calling one morning. I called at about 4:30 in the morning. If we had a problem, we had to call this number. And there were two of us in the room at that time because we had just had a real disaster hit. We had 6 inches of rain. I'm standing next to the director of the flood operation, Alan Byers, and he said, call the Red Cross. I think we're going to lose a lot of houses. At that particular time, we had 2 houses go down with basements caved in, and 1 house was on fire, and the police were fire were trying to respond in a boat to put out this fire. So I called the number, and she said, well, how many people do you think are going to have to be moved? How many people are the American Red Cross going to have to take care of? And I said, I don't know. I just know that you need to prepare to move some people. So it was interesting. We knew, and the American Red Cross was there in 2011. If the levees broke in the area that we were seeing the devastation, we would have to probably evacuate 36,000 people. That's a large number. In fact, without the cooperation of the American Red Cross and all the people throughout the agencies, we were prepared. We were prepared for the worst. So that's been my involvement. Now I'm on the Metro Blood Board. I can see the other side of the American Red Cross where blood is very important, and it's throughout the metro area, Iowa and Nebraska, and blood drives are important. The blood is needed, and so I've learned a lot from being in my involvement in the Red Cross.
What about the fire canvassing events?
You mean that's they call them.
Remember when we froze?
Yeah, but what's it called?
The fire canvassing events?
Yeah, but what?
Project Alex.
Project Alex.
But it's for smoke alarm.
Yeah.
Oh, God, jeez. I couldn't remember the word when you said that.
Well, tell me about the first time that you did that.
Okay.
How
Well,
cold it was.
our fire chief, you know, said that and we had lost somebody, Alex, in a fire. And you know, how do we get the attention that people should have fire alarms, smoke alarms in their homes, and how important that was. And so he and the fire department took it on with the American Red Cross,